let me introduce to you the one, the only, Brad Oxley.
Well, that's quite the intro there, Brian.
You're awesome, Brad.
I guess we're both bespectacled old guys.
That's right. And we're both about the same age, so I guess we're both old guys together, right?
Yes, sir.
And we had our beginning of Speedway together, correct? You and I were like racers together. Is that true?
Yeah, we were really fortunate. And like, I think it was 76, may have been 75, but I think 76, a track opened down in East San Diego, and it was right next to what is Brown Field, and it was called Speedway 117, and they had a little like clay car oval there, and they did a season of Speedway races. But the beauty of it for yourself and I was that the top first division riders weren't really allowed or interested in riding down there. We were racing for a couple of $100, but because the second division riders were the main show, it turned out that you and I were both young beginning riders, and we mixed it up elbow to elbow a few times.
Yeah, we had our rub-ins, didn't we? We were dicing it out. It was Brad Oxley and the Bumblebee. We had a good time, didn't we, Brad?
Well, yeah, I remember one particular night where I was pretty sure it was maybe the third week of the season. Every week I had ridden a little better, and I was pretty sure I had a chance to make the main event that night. So I went down there, and the four guys that made the scratch main was Brian Buffington on his JAP, myself on my George Wen tuned 2-valve Jawa, and a gentleman that was much more experienced than us named Kevin McDonald, who was a visitor from, I believe, New Zealand. And I think rounding out the field was the famous Robin Hood, a.k.a. Denny Bartlett. And those guys are probably about like 12 years older than us and had a lot of like Speedway experience. So in the main event, you know, the two of us were pretty much looking like underdogs. I thought I might have a chance to win it, but you came out of the gate on the good old JAP and just stormed into the lead, pretty much left the rest of us to sort out the minor placings. And I was really lucky and happy to get second place. I got beat by Brian Buffington. I think it's the first and only time someone on a JAP beat me. It may have been one of the last great victories ever for the JAP motorcycle.
Yeah. And we had that King of the Hill championship. Do you remember that one where I have the cup right here. Let's see. I got the cup. I don't know if I can get it. It's very hard. This was the cup that almost went to Brad. I got my racing gloves inside of here. Let me get my gloves out of here.
I missed out on that one big time.
Do you remember what happened? Do you remember this one or not?
I just remember you beat me a bunch of times down there, and it just made me try and work even harder.
Yeah, we had that King of the Hill match race championship. And actually, Brad, you were number 1 in points, and I was number 2. And they had like this big thing at the end of the year, and it was the top match race champions. And you were actually number 1, like I mentioned, in points. And I had actually gone to Bakersfield, and I was racing a first division handicap in Bakersfield. So I left a few weeks and came back, and you took my number 1 spot. And I had to race Larry Costa for the number 2 and number 3 spot to find out who's going to be eliminated so we could race Brad Oxley. And then I happened to beat Larry Costa. And then it was me against you in the championship, the end of the year championship. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember you smoked me. You were a little more experienced and a bit bigger and stronger than me at that point. And I was like probably like 130-pound little guy and barely hanging onto the motorbike. And if you'll recall that Larry Costa was a San Diego dude, and that was like his home track, and he was pretty damn determined and good. He eventually went on to even race for, I believe, Bellevue and the British Speedway League. So he was no slouch and qualified for a few nationals, and that was some pretty strict competition amongst a handful of young dudes down there. I remember that it added to my experience and drew me along in my racing career quite a bit. Like those chances for guys like you, me, Larry Costa, to go up against some more experienced riders and be the main event really taught me a lot of lessons, about racing under pressure and all that stuff. And I'm sure now we would consider it a little funky, and it was a little bit backyardish and everything, but it was a big deal at the time. And I remember when I won one particular night, I won like $105, and I took my dad and George Wynn to dinner at Bob's Big Boy or Denny's or something like that. And I'll just never forget those times. And I think when you're first starting your racing career, things happen to you and it unfolds so quickly if you have a little talent that it just really sticks in your mind more than all of the other races you do from there on.
Yeah, it was the beginning. It was the genesis of our Speedway career. Brad, and Brian, it was raw. It was like ornate. It was down by the Mexico border. We would see the Mexicans jumping over the fence, and we'd have to lock our pit boxes, our tool boxes, so the Mexicans didn't steal our tools. It was great.
Yeah, Speedway 117 was literally right on Highway 117, which runs past Brown Airfield. Used to be a military airfield, but now it's a place where if you're flying from Mexico into the States, you have to land for customs. And like I said, it's all different now. It's not even Highway 117 anymore. Now it's called the 905, and it's a big major interstate type thing, leading like all the truck traffic from Mexico into Southern California. But at that time, it was just a little 2-lane highway, and the back straightaway of the racetrack was literally the border.
Hello, Brad. We lost Brad.
Oh, Jaylene, I'm getting lost, Jaylene.
we lost the video of Brad, so we want you coming back.
Sorry.
Come back, Brad. Come back. We miss Brad Oxley. We miss you, Brad. There we go. Thank you, Jaylene. You're an angel. Bring Brad back.
I'm a total technophobe. So like, this is the most time I've been on the phone probably in the last year.
Well, thank you so much for doing that.